Oh, man, it is a beautiful Tuesday morning here in Indianapolis. Going to get to be 42 degrees. Thank you. This is Don't At Me. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Why? Because this is going to be a workmanlike performance today, ladies and gentlemen. It's blue collar. Well, maybe not. But anyway, I feel like a lumberjack, so I wore my lumberjack clothes today. I'll be splitting wood later. Look, let's get right into it. Last night, I don't know what you saw, but I'm glad I work at OutKick because I'm going to say something that I probably wouldn't be allowed to say at ESPN. That is, Kyler Murray stinks. I mean, you know why I wouldn't be able to say that there. Kyler Murray stinks. Kyler Murray, I got two words for Kyler Murray. My ass. You can make all the excuses you want, but he is now in the pantheon of awfulness with Baker Mayfield, Carson Wentz, oh, man, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott. Put Kyler Murray in there. Holy cow. You know what he did? He went and Wentzed us. Except he did it right-handed. He threw a ball out from the end zone, threw it up. Next thing you know, boom, touchdown. Kyler Murray. Look, I was all in on Kyler Murray until I started watching him. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all that they being the Cardinals, were able to win some football games when Kyler Murray was on the sideline and Colt McCoy was in. I wouldn't be able to say that on ESPN, you know. Got to be careful. But right here, are you kidding me? Did you watch that game last night? Like, I don't know what Kyler Murray was thinking, or I don't know what. He got intimidated. He got scared. He was awful. Now, let me go to the other side. Let me explain something to you here in the great state of Indiana. In the great state of Indiana, we have what is commonly known as the greatest general manager in the NFL. Greg Rosenthal and others, I think it's Rosenthal, he of the NFL Network or NFL.com wrote this article in April that the best general manager is our guy Chris Ballard, despite the fact that he has a 42-42 record and in 5 years one playoff win and no division titles. We talk in Indianapolis about a couple of things. We talk about championship culture. We talk about having our chips all in. Our venerable owner, the great Jimmy Irsay, just did a TikTok video, if you can believe it, a TikTok video by the owner of an NFL team outside of his big-ass private plane on the way to go play guitar somewhere and act like he's a rock star. The world is nuts here in Indianapolis. I'm sorry, but it's just insane. Anyway, he talked about chips are all in. If you show up at 56th Street, your chips have to be all in. Blah, 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 blah. That's what we do here in Indy. We talk. So, let me tell you why that's pertinent to last night. In Indy, we grow our own. In Indy, we pay to this point, $140 million for Phillip Rivers over the hill, Carson Wentz beat out by Jalen Hurts, $30 million to Jacoby Brissett, and assorted other millions to like Brian Hoyer, Sam Ehlinger, Jacob Eason. I'm missing one or two guys. All right, that's Brett Huntley. $140 million. All right, we have a championship culture. Our chips are all in. Let me tell you about the Rams culture. The Rams went out and paid for a legitimate quarterback. One I was screaming to get in Indianapolis. I watched a few years ago when the Detroit Lions came into Indianapolis for one of those pregame scrimmages. I'm watching, it was Andrew Luck for the Colts, Matt Stafford for the Lions, and it was unbelievable to me how much better of a thrower of the football Matthew Stafford was than Andrew Luck. Not that Luck was bad. Luck was good, really good. But, man, that Stafford could sling it. So, not only do they get Matt Stafford, but they went and got a bunch of really good free agents. They went and surrounded Aaron Donald with talent. They went and picked up two guys mid-season. Mid-season pickup of OBJ looked pretty good last night, even though I'm not a fan. I might be a fan now. He's kind of just shut up and started balling in L.A. I think it'd be fun to follow OBJ for one night in L.A., particularly last night. I think it'd be fun. And they went and got Von Miller, who, oh, by the way, got his first sack since I was a toddler in the playoffs. Actually, first sack since they won the Super Bowl. He's been really good. You know, Bear fans, this is poignant to you as well. There is no 20-year plan with the Los Angeles Rams. Now, I don't know if they're going to win next week, but I know this. They're winning now. And I know this. They beat the living hell out of a team that was supposed to be pretty good, that kind of had sort of a chance early in the year. They get off every year, the Cardinals do, to a good start. Well, anyway, let me go back to the Rams. So the Rams last night, there's no 20-year plan. There's a, hey, we got to figure this out. Sure, they grew their own. Cooper Kupp's pretty good. No, Cooper Kupp's really good. Cooper Kupp won us a parlay last night that included a touchdown by Cooper Kupp, over 45 yards by Sony Michel. Like, he had like 35 on his first carry. And then, of course, the Rams winning. We won some money last night. Could have won more. I missed by a half a yard, another 180 from Sony Michel. And we missed by one touchdown for another $800. But I digress. We still won money. But this is a win-now philosophy. Let me go back to the Bears. This whole setup in Indianapolis, grow our own, yay rah, was set up by Grandpa Polian, Bill Polian, the same guy that said Trent Richardson was the best player in the draft when he came out, the same guy that said Lamar Jackson should be a wide receiver. Bill Polian was great in his day. I love the man. But Bill Polian is now making the decisions with the Chicago Bears. So what are you seeing? You're seeing Jim Caldwell come in there. You're seeing a couple of Colts guys. The defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus. We're dying to get Matt Eberflus. I'm not, because I like Matt Eberflus. He's a friend of my wife's family. But ain't nobody around here going to be mad if Matt Eberflus becomes the head coach of the Chicago Bears and gets the hell out of Indy. So be wary. This has tentacles. Grow your own championship culture. Chips all in. Chips all in, not as good as chips and salsa, I'll tell you that right now. Chips and salsa, good. Chips all in. Championship culture. That's what we got here. Well, in our championship culture here in Indiana, I mean, I'm just saying, we went 9-8 with a supposed great roster in the easiest division in football, with one of the easiest schedules in football, and didn't make the playoff and shit the bed the last 2 weeks. I don't think championship culture includes having a 98% to make the Super Bowl, or excuse me, the playoffs, and losing 2 in a row. No. Championship culture is what you're seeing out of the Rams. They won the division, got a first-round game against a team that knows them very well and beat the living hell out of them. That's championship culture. So stop with the stupid. But the Rams last night, let's go to the game. I mean, 13 of 17, a couple hundred yards. That's what Stafford was. Kupp 5 for 81. That's all good. But the defense, the pressure on the defense, man, oh man. OBJ, a little creativity, throws the ball down the field. Hell of a play, hell of a catch by OBJ, left corner. I mean, they just got OBJ. I don't know. Hey, look, I don't know. David Long, interception return on an idiotic pass by Tyler, or whatever his name is, Kyler Murray. Why is it all these little guys from Oklahoma get all these commercials and none of them can play? Somebody explain that to me. Baker Mayfield, I love his commercials, can't play. Kyler Murray, love his commercials with Tebow, can't play. I mean, let's be honest. I guess he can play early. And then everyone catches up to him. You won't hear this on ESPN. You'll hear excuses. I heard an excuse yesterday. Some guy named Dominic Foxworthy. I don't know what a Dominic Foxworthy is, but he's making excuses for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was terrible. The pantheon of awfulness. Baker Mayfield, Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott. Welcome to the pantheon of awfulness, Kyler Murray. Team of the night last night, if it wasn't the Rams, was the Purdue Boilermakers. Number 4 in the country. They went into Illinois in a matinee, an MLK matinee. That sounds good. They went into Illinois, the only undefeated team in the Big Ten. Illinois has got a badass coach. I love Brad Underwood. They got a badass player in Kofi Cockburn. Don't say his name phonetically. It's spelled Cockburn. That's not Cockburn. That's Coburn. Remember it. Anyway, Cockburn is a tough-ass dude. So what has Illinois got their kid Andre Curbelo back, who's a star. Now, Andre Curbelo at times can play for both teams, but last night he seemed like, or yesterday afternoon, he seemed like the kind of guy that wanted to play for his own team. He was pretty good, but I'll tell you this. When I was growing up playing basketball in and around Gary, Indiana, I don't know how old I was, but I was at Pittman Square. They had a full court of low rims, and we would always try to dunk. We could goaltend. I was probably 12 or 13. I ran into this tall, lanky kid. He had a white T-shirt on. I'll never forget. His name was Lubashas. And we started playing. Became kind of half-assed friends. Became rivals in high school. His name was Louis Stefanovic. Louis Stefanovic went to Illinois State. I remember telling the guys at Indiana, you really should recruit Louis Stefanovic. They didn't. He went to Illinois State, became a draft choice. I went to Indiana and became a nothing. Well, anyway, Lubashas, he had a son. His name is Sasha Stefanovic. Sasha Stefanovic was not recruited very much at all in high school. Went to Crown Point High School in northwest Indiana, just south of Gary. For us, Crown Point was southern Indiana. I digress. Sasha Stefanovic in like his 12th year at Purdue. Sasha Stefanovic did exactly what you want basketball, football, baseball, whatever players to do. You know what he did on the biggest stage? He just unloaded, and I mean unloaded, on Illinois to the tune of 22 points. But it wasn't the 22. He had big shot after big shot, three after three. Probably the least athletic guy on the court ends up with 22, and the Boilermakers win 96-88 in overtime. If you happen to see the game, you'll understand that was one hell of a game. That was one hell of a basketball game. How about the unranked Oregon Ducks women? The women beat the UConn women. Unranked beating UConn never happens. Nobody beating UConn ever happens in women's basketball. But UConn this year is only 9-4. Gino Auriemma's going to blow a top. Gino Auriemma's got to lose his mind. Tihaina Popo. I think that's her name. P-A-O-P-A-O. How do you spell it? Popo. Pow. She dropped 22 and did it in style. They were up 15, Oregon was, at halftime, and really, they never really challenged. I don't say this about many coaches anymore, used to. Like, Bob Knight would kill us the next day in practice. I would kill my team sometimes at midnight when we lost a game. But I wouldn't want to be in a Gino Auriemma practice today. I wouldn't want to be anywhere around Gino Auriemma today. He's one of the few coaches that actually gets mad. He's one of the few coaches that isn't so full of shit and kissing players' ass. That's why he wins all the time. Gino will get it figured out. But last night, bad night. Bad night. Horrible night. Awful night. So we've talked about Purdue. We've talked about UConn. Let's go to the NBA. Now, it's the Nets of Brooklyn taking on the Cavs of Cleveland. Let's understand something. Why is this game up there? It's a game in the middle of January from the NBA. Well, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. The Cavs are an up-and-coming team. Darius Garland is an up-and-coming player. Had 22 and 12, I think. Yeah, now he did have 6 turnovers, but what are you going to do? Darius Garland's dad, Winston Garland, was a terrific player at Gary Roosevelt. Again, everything revolves around Gary, Indiana. Make no mistake, okay? It's the crossroads of the country. It's where 80-94 meets I-65. I'm going to go down here because there's not much north. So 80-94 goes east and west. I-65 will take you straight from northwest Indiana all the way down to Mobile, Alabama. And there's actually a stoplight on I-65. People don't know this. But anyway, everything revolves around my hometown. So Darius Garland, son of Winston, who played in the NBA for a few years, is a young stud. Evan Mobley, a young stud. Why the Brooklyn Nets are important? I'll tell you why the Brooklyn Nets are important. Because, frankly, the Brooklyn Nets are going to have to play without Kevin Durant. Last night, Kyrie Irving had 27, and he should. But the truth of the matter is there was no Kevin Durant to go make a bunch of shots last night. Watch this, man. Dude that closes games big in the NBA. So I'm now a fan of the Cavs. I wasn't when they got rid of John Beilein. I like John Beilein. Maybe John Beilein got rid of himself. I don't know. All right, you ready? The NFL has job openings. We got 3 teams, the Vikings, the Giants, the Bears, and the Raiders, 4 teams, that are without a head coach and a general manager. We've got like Vic Fangio gone. Mike Zimmer was David Culley got screwed, but he got paid, right? Dave Gettleman needed to be out. I'm going to have Linda Cohn on later, and I want to talk about why in the hell teams from New York are so freaking awful. All right, obviously we've got the urban situation in Jacksonville. But let's talk about a couple of them, okay? Let's talk about Mike Mayock. Now, Mike Mayock, I don't know where he came from, but he was all the rage on TV. Like, Mike Mayock was the man when he was doing Notre Dame games. Everybody said Mike Mayock's a genius. It's kind of like what's going on with Louis Riddick right now. Louis Riddick wasn't wanted by anybody in the NFL when he was in the NFL. Now Louis Riddick's doing TV, and all of a sudden Louis Riddick is a freaking genius. I don't get it. You guys are going to have to explain it to me. Same thing with Mike Mayock. Mike Mayock was calling Notre Dame games and doing some draft nonsense on the side. Mike Mayock is the man. Now, he's respected by people that I respect, so I respect Mike Mayock. But once John Gruden was gone, what did I tell you? This is like the mafia. You brought in Gruden, you got to go. You came in with Gruden, you got to go. That's how it goes. They whack you if you're associated with the guy that caused them problems. It's no different in the real world. Omerta, a.k.a. our thing, is the mafia term. Our thing, omerta. Ain't no different in football. Ain't no different in basketball. Ain't no different. The only thing is, we don't hide a gun behind the toilet and blow a guy's head off in the middle of a restaurant in downtown Manhattan. And we don't say, hey, leave the body, take the cannoli. Or leave the gun, take the cannoli. Whatever he said. We don't do that in basketball and football. We act like we're tough people. Everybody acts like they're a tough guy in the world of sports, particularly the world of coaching. But the truth of the matter is most of them weren't tough when they played. So how the hell are they tough as they get older? I digress. Mike Mayock is out. Who is in? I don't know. But there is a lot of discussion among agents. I didn't say football people. I said agents. That Jim Harbaugh is the guy being eyed to come into Las Vegas. Now, but I saw Jim Harbaugh in a house of a recruit. Great. Jim Harbaugh would never leave. Great. Okay. I'll listen to all of that. I'll say, great. Yeah, you're right. Yay, go fight, win. No. Here's the deal. Agents get players, get coaches, deals done in the NFL. A lot of talk. Doesn't mean I'm hearing Jim Harbaugh's going. But I talk to a lot of people on a daily basis. For some reason, this face, people feel comfortable talking to this face. So I get calls out of nowhere. I've been talking to three different coaches, the fourth is out, NFL coaches, not head coaches, about what's going on. A lot of smoke, not around Jim Harbaugh, around the job about Jim Harbaugh. Don't know what's going to happen, no clue. But I do know this. People are wanting to know if Jim Harbaugh is interested in their job, especially the Las Vegas Raiders. Next thing, the Colts. We got 2 Colts. One's a coach, one is an executive in the front office under Chris Ballard, interviewing for the Bears head coaching job. Good for them, man. Look, Matt Eberflus, hey, if you get a chance to be the coach of the Chicago Bears, and you're a guy from Toledo, Ohio, which is basically Northwest Ohio, same as Northwest Indiana / Chicago, I'm going to root for you. I am. Matt Eberflus, according to my wife's ex-husband, my wife's ex-husband's brothers, great dude. I wish him well. He interviewed for the Bears job. The other guy's a guy named Ed Dodds. Ed Dodds, by all accounts, great guy. He's in the front office of the Indianapolis Colts. If you are Chicago, though, you must beware. This is a Grandpa Polian hiring. I talked about it a little earlier. What does that mean? That means we're going to grow our own. That means we're not going to delve into free agency much. That means an antiquated way of doing business in the NFL may be coming your way, Chicago. Be careful about anybody that wants to build an NFL team from the inside out, where you draft a guard 6th, where you give journeyman linemen extensions before they're needed, where you value relationships over winning. A few years ago in Indy, if Adam Vinatieri had been cut in the preseason, Colts would have been in the playoffs. Jacoby Brissett might still be the quarterback. He led them to a 5-2 start. Let me go back to Harbaugh for just a second and the Raiders. All right? Harbaugh and the Raiders make sense for a number of reasons. One, Harbaugh leaving Michigan. Let's talk about it. If I'm Jim Harbaugh, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wait a second. I'm not sure we can beat Ohio State every year. In fact, I'm not sure we can beat Ohio State enough that my crazy-ass fans will be satisfied. Two ways of looking at his situation in Michigan. One, they kept him, even though he was 0-7 against Ohio State. That's one way. Another way is, yeah, they kept me. I got a better record than they've had in a long time, but they cut my money. They publicly embarrassed me. Now, I love the fact that Harbaugh never said anything about it. I love the fact that Harbaugh never bitched, whined, and moaned. He went to work, got his team right, got him in the college football playoffs, and, listen to this, gave his bonus money, which I think was $1 million, to workers who had been laid off in the Michigan athletic department because of COVID. That's a dude to me. That's a guy I can get behind. So if I'm Harbaugh, all those things come into play. Now, if I'm the Raiders, why would Harbaugh come into play? One reason and one reason only. Harbaugh has won. I don't care. I know last night it was really kind of funny as Louis Riddick went on a diversity tour about Raheem Moss and the other guy, Vance Joseph. You know, these two guys were built up to be Lombardi and Belichick rolled into one. It was funny looking at the reaction, both African-American and white dudes, about these two on Twitter. And it was basically people that had seen Vance Joseph coach. Oh, are you out of your mind? Same thing with Raheem. I don't know if it's Raheem Moss, Raheem Morris. I coached a kid named Raheem Moss. So anyway, while they went on a diversity rant yesterday, other folks in the NFL are like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, we'll interview people that we need to interview, but who the hell is going to make us win? Jim Harbaugh won. Jim Harbaugh won in that division. Jim Harbaugh's an interesting guy. Jim Harbaugh would make things interesting in Las Vegas. I don't know, but it seems like a pretty good match to me. So does it for me and Harbaugh with the Bears. I think the Bears are interesting. I think the Bears, where Jim Harbaugh played and is somewhat beloved. Now, you got to understand, Jim Harbaugh is beloved here in Indy. He's in the Ring of Honor for some reason. I don't know. The Colts early had a slim Ring of Honor. Harbaugh played all right for a while, so they put him in the Ring of Honor. All right. But don't be surprised if Harbaugh don't end up in the pros. Deshaun Watson and Brian Flores, one or the other, or both, to the Giants. A lot of rumors out there. Giants need something. Let's be honest. I don't know whether the Giants are good, bad, happy, or sad in terms of their fan base. I'm sure it's New York. A lot of people like the Jets, some like the Giants. They love the Giants when they won. But to me, Brian Flores is at least an adult. I mean, look, when you look at who they hired, Joe Judge seemed like a child to me. Ben McAdoo seemed like the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off to me. And I think Shermer was an adult, but for whatever the reason, the powers to be didn't like him. Time to get an adult there. I think Brian Flores would be perfect, and if he could bring Deshaun Watson, that'd be even better. Let's be honest. Let's just throw, as the Colts owner Jimmy Irsay says, let's bring and put our chips on the table. You got to be very, very careful. There's only a few people that the press won't kill that could deal with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has 22 civil cases. Deshaun Watson has, as of right now, inquiries, 10 by women. All right? 22 civil, 10 possible criminal. A lot going on here. Grand jury is going to be convened. I'm not so sure Deshaun Watson should play football until it's over, but I don't make those decisions. And I honestly don't care. I don't know. All right? I think because of right now, all the publicity of Brian Flores being fired and everybody starting out by saying, it's racial. Look at what's happening to black coaches. Oh, my God. To a number of African-American journalists saying, that's crap. That's crap. He was a jackass to everybody. Because of that sympathy and because of how our media is, where you're scared to death to be called an ist, Brian Flores would not catch any shit at all bringing in Deshaun Watson. I would. 59-year-old white guy? You kidding me? But Brian Flores is on the side of the media right now where the white guys in the media want to kiss ass. The black guys are divided because some are like, no, he was a jackass. Others like, this is racism. I always say this. Do you want equality or do you want equal but special? If you want equality and you're a coach and it's truly equal, you don't win enough and you're a jackass, you're going to get fired. I couldn't say that on ESPN, but it's the truth. You want equality. Hey, look, white dudes get their ass fired if they don't make the playoffs in 3 or 4 years and are pains in the ass to people in the organization, except in Indy. We don't fire nobody. Will Mike McCarthy return? Now, you talk about a guy that's on the wrong side of the media. I mean, just by the way he looks, Mike McCarthy gets ripped every morning on these idiot shows, except for this show, which is the greatest of all time. Stephen Jones, son of Jerry, said Mike McCarthy should return. That doesn't mean anything. Last seen, Stephen Jones might have been the guy licking the smudge off of his daddy's tie. Nobody means anything when they say anything in the Dallas Cowboys except for one man and one man only, Jerry Jones. Also, no man has gone farther to enhance the Cowboys brand than Jerry Jones. No one has gone farther to screw up the Cowboys on the field than Jerry Jones. Just look at it. I mean, I don't really get into, a lot of you do, carrying their jock. Like a lot of people will say, Dakich, you couldn't carry Bobby Knight's jock. I don't want to carry anybody's jock. Jerry Jones, though, got carried by the nape, what do you call it, the nape of the neck or the scruff of the neck? I don't know what old-timers call it, but now that I'm an old-timer, I better learn. Jerry Jones got carried by Jimmy Johnson. If there was no Jimmy Johnson, there'd be no Jerry Jones. We'll see what happens. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting what's going to happen here with Black Friday. I think I'll make predictions maybe tomorrow. All right, coming up, ladies and gentlemen, it's January. What did I do these last 3 days? Every day, hour on the elliptical or an hour. 6 miles on elliptical, hour on a treadmill. And I did it Orange Theory style, where I put it up, moved it down, sped it up, slow. I mean, you know. Now, when I got home, I ate a lot of cake. And when I got home over the last couple of days, because it's January and I can cheat, I drank a lot of wine. My wife, my stepson, and I must have sat, man, starting on Saturday with Wild Card Weekend, there's a big ass print in the couch that we have. It's an indention, and it's glorious, and I love it. But it's January, so let's celebrate some Dans. Let's see what's going to happen and what we want for some Dans. Also, the great Linda Cohn joins us. I got some fades for you. 3-0 yesterday, by the way. Got a lot to tell you people. Stay right here. I think you're going to like the show. We'll be right back. Happy January. That's right. This is a month where all of us Dans, it's just our month. I'm sorry, but it's our month. Let's get into January. Look, here's the deal. I gave you about 4 things for January, right? Number 1, lose some weight, work out. All right. Number 2, read a couple books. I'm on book 4. I've read 3 Baldacci books. I've read Oops by the great Kent Sterling. Get it, it's good. Oops, O-O-P-S. I'm looking at it right now. Kent Sterling's the author. You'll like it. It's a short, small, but it gives you a lot of life lessons on mistakes made by a really funny dude. And now I'm reading the 4 Agreements, which basically one of them tells you, block out the noise. Anybody's mad at you, that's a problem for them, not you. I'm learning to do that. Although Sparty Girls last night, one of them said blank Dan Dakich. I took that as, I don't know. Maybe AOC was right. From now on, all the hate directed at me just simply means that somebody wants to have sex with me. Male, female, dog, cat, I don't know. But if you're hating me, I'm going AOC. All right. And January, let me go through a few things. Number 1, UConn coach Danny Hurley. I love Danny Hurley. Why? Because he's out of his mind. Danny Hurley's a yeller, a screamer, a cusser. He'll bite your head off. He'll go nuts on you. Danny Hurley plays tonight and actually plays back-to-back against Butler. Home against Butler tonight, and then in 2 days back here in Indianapolis. Danny Hurley, our wish for you in the great, great, great month of January, let's get a couple of wins. I'm a Butler fan. Butler's right here by me. I like Lavelle Jordan. I like their staff. But Danny, you're a Dan. This is our month. Let's go. Let's not mess around in January, Danny Hurley. Let's get some wins. Next guy, Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is the coach of the Cowboys. Dan Quinn was the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons and took them to the Super Bowl, got them like a 28-3 win, or lead, not a win, against Tom Brady. And guess what? You know the rest. Brady came back, the Falcons folded, the Falcon franchise has never been the same. Fast forward a few years, Dan Quinn fired. It's amazing. I wonder how many jobs Tom Brady has cost people. Think about it. Tom Brady, hey, we're playing, oh crap. If you beat him, you're a god, but nobody ever beats him in those big moments. So anyway, long story short, Dan Quinn, a man from Dan, getting an opportunity, interviewing all over the place. Here's to you, DQ. Here's to hoping that Dan Quinn gets himself a head coaching position. He's a Dan, by the way, and it's January. You want to participate in January? Go to #January. All right. Dan Mueller. Dan Mueller's the head coach at Illinois State. Dan Mueller is an alumni of Illinois State. Dan Mueller has been absolutely fantastic as the head coach of Illinois State. He's an alum. People love him there. I don't know if you know where Illinois State is. It's called Bloomington Normal, Illinois. Friend of mine, actually, true story, got on a flight thinking he was going to Bloomington, Indiana, and went to Bloomington Normal. True story. This is way back. There were actually flights going into Bloomington, Indiana. He got off the plane. It was one of them little planes. He got off the plane. He's like, where in the hell? He was in Bloomington Normal. True story. Scout's honor. And I wasn't even a scout. But anyway, he's 10-8, which is good, fine. But he needs wins. And his name is Dan. And I'm not going to lie to you. It ain't that easy finding a whole hell of a lot of Dans. It's just not. I mean, damn, I'm looking at Dan Quayle, but I don't know what the hell he's doing. I don't know. There's not a lot of Dans. A lot of Dans that are actors that I don't know. Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel Craig. Isn't he Bond? Daniel Bonaducci. I don't know. Hey, Daniel Bonaducci. Keep wearing those shirts even when you're 80. All right. Next. Daniel Snyder. I ain't mad at Daniel Snyder. I don't like or dislike Daniel Snyder. I don't know what Daniel Snyder's done inside. I know this. I don't believe anything the media writes, so I don't care what the media writes about a guy named Daniel Snyder. I don't care. It don't matter to me. But Daniel Snyder, first off, I guess in your world, you fought the good fight, I guess, and kept the Redskins' name as long as you could. Now you've had to change the name, which is fine, who cares? But the bottom line is, if I'm Daniel Snyder, I might want to think about selling my team. I'll tell you why. How's it worked out for guys that have come back? Like Donald Trump didn't need to come back and be the president. He didn't need the money. And Donald Trump now, man, he just gets killed left and right. Urban Meyer didn't need to come back from TV. But when it doesn't work out for you and you're a middle-aged or older white guy, you got a problem. Daniel Snyder, for your sake, sell the damn team, make all the money. It can't be that much fun anyway. Think about it. You're Daniel Snyder. About every 10 minutes, you've got a leak of something inside your organization saying that it's bad. About every 2 or 3 years, there's an actual investigation. It can't be fun for you to show your face at your home games. It's got to be fun for you to be around your cronies because they're all kissing your ass as you're the owner of the frickin' Washington Redskins or whatever the hell they're called now. That's got to be cool. Cocktail parties got to be cool, but how many cocktail parties do people go to anymore? I mean, we always say the cocktail party. I got to tell you, I'm an old guy. I get invited a lot of places. I don't know if I've ever been invited to hey, we're having a cocktail party. Maybe I'm too weird. Like I invited people this weekend to play 3-on-3 basketball at my neighbor's house. I invite my boys from LMB, Love My Brother. We're all a bunch of derelict friends. Every year to have a huge party. We call it a regatta. I get out boats. I used to live on a retention pond. We had boat races. Everybody's half hammered. We get a band of a friend of mine who has a band. He plays, and it's a great party. But I'm not sure I've ever said, hey, Lee, I'm going to get my tux on. You get your sparkly New Year's Eve dress. We're going to a cocktail party, baby. No. So here's the deal. Daniel Snyder, sell the damn team. It ain't bad living in obscurity. Start an OutKick show in your basement. It's the best thing ever. Dress like a lumberjack, talk shit all day. All right, last guy. I love this guy. You guys may or may not know this name, Dan Gavitt. Dan Gavitt is the son of Dave Gavitt. Dave Gavitt, legendary coach at Providence, took him to the Final Four with one of the most interesting dudes to ever play basketball, Marvin Bad News Barnes, okay? Look up Marvin Bad News Barnes. Read about Marvin Bad News Barnes and then get back to me and tell me that's not the most whacked out dude to ever play basketball at Providence College or in the NBA. Email me, Dan at 1070thefan.com. Swear to God, Bad News Barnes is unbelievable, the stories. But anyway, so Dan Gavitt, he's the son of Dave. They have the Gavitt games to start college basketball on Fox. It's the Big East against the Big Ten. It's named after Dave Gavitt. Dan's the son. Dan runs, I was going to say basically runs, but he runs the NCAA tournament. Last year, because, well, there were going to be regionals here and the Final Four was going to be here anyway, they had the entire tournament in Indianapolis, COVID restrictions and all. This year, we got a hell of a thing going on, right? We don't know our ass from third base relative to COVID. I mean, schools are covering their ass. I've said this forever. Downtown Indy, you got 60,000 of us slobs sweating on each other, throwing up on each other at a Colts game. But down the street, 45 minutes in Bloomington, everybody's got to get masked up to go to class. Everybody's got to stand 8,000 yards away. I don't know what the hell it is. You don't know what the hell it is. But the truth of the matter is, neither does the NCAA know what the hell it is. So guess what? Guess what? Dan Gavitt, move the damn NCAA tournament back here. Now, I know you can't do it. All right? I know. I think it's in New Orleans this year. Fine place for the tournament. Fine place. But I also got to tell you, you live here, I live here. Who the hell wants to go to New Orleans? I mean, think about it. The student-athlete experience in New Orleans, it won't be great. Aren't we trying to make everybody choir boys? Last time we went to New Orleans, a good friend of mine, we left him at 3 in the morning. He wanted to stay out. We didn't see him till 9 in the morning. He walked into the hotel lobby where we were sitting around. He comes slumping in. He had slept on the side of the river. And as we looked, here came his wife out the elevator with her bags and their kids, and she got the hell out of Dodge. New Orleans is evil for the NCAA tournament. Fun as hell for the NCAA tournament. But damn, Dan Gavitt, move that stuff this way. Bring it on home, baby. Last thing, and this is going rogue a little bit, were the NFL playoffs all that good, or did I just enjoy them, frankly, because I really enjoyed hanging with my stepson, and we bet our faces off. The games weren't that great. They were kind of routes. Guys on the YouTube chat are saying Wild Card Weekend kind of sucked, according to Brian. Bad product. Yeah. Oh, my God, my friend George, he's fell on ice. Georgie. Now I'm taking pain meds, drinking, and eating. The alternate Danuary is not bad. George Monahan. I lift a glass to you, my friend. Georgie, in Connecticut, Navy man. Annapolis. Can't keep a Navy man down. See, I always thought that I was like a Navy or Army guy. We're going to be enthusiastic and have fun no matter what the hell we do. Georgie, get them going. It might be Meduary, John Daltzman says. Thanks to everybody that's watching on the YouTube chat, by the way. It's a great crowd on there. Yesterday, you got a little surly with me on my show's YouTube chat, but they'll be all right. Linda Cohn coming up top of the hour, by the way. All right, college hoops. Look, I'm not going to brag here, but there isn't anybody doing a game on television that's remotely close to me. I've been a little bit blackballed because I wouldn't go in a pool with a frickin' professor, or excuse me, I wouldn't go at it in a pool with a frickin' professor. I'm sorry, I'm a married man. I won't go at it. It became a big story. Next thing you know, I called ESPN and said, I don't even need to come back. So anyway, here I am, and I love it. But I'm watching college hoops. My God, here's what you need to watch when you watch college hoops, all right? Does anybody tell you what's going to happen? That's called forecasting. Does anybody really tell you what just happened other than to say, yeah, young fella? I was watching the Indiana-Nebraska game last night. I finally had to turn it off. They got some 12-year-old from Purdue doing the broadcast who didn't know his ass from third base. I mean, let's go. Let's get a little enthusiastic. Come on. Anyway, Gonzaga's the number one team in the country. Gonzaga's the number one team in the country. I don't think Gonzaga should be the number one team in the country. Look, I'm just going to tell you, and this is bragging. This is self-flatulation. Is that the right word? That can't be the right. There's no way that's the right word. What's the right word, Lauren? When you're talking really good about yourself. I don't know. But anyway, I watch college hoops and you're not getting the real information. So let me give you the real information. The rankings came out yesterday. And Gonzaga is the number 1 team in the country. And that's cute. But the truth of the matter is, I've watched Gonzaga against good teams be very pedestrian. Gonzaga should not be the number 1 team in the country. The best team that I've seen in this country is the Auburn Tigers. The Auburn Tigers under Bruce Pearl play a style that everybody's going to like. When's the last time Auburn lost? They lost to UConn in the 3rd game of the year, 115 to 109. Since then, they've won not 1, not 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13 straight. They play Tom Crean's Georgia Bulldogs. I think it's tonight, maybe tomorrow. I think today's the 18th. Anyway, the Auburn Tigers are the best team that I have seen in America. Bruce Pearl put a team or two on probation, okay? Writers love Springsteen, right? It makes them feel cool from back in the day. Like, look at all these dorky-ass writers and bloggers that vote for this. I love Springsteen. Makes them feel cool. Springsteen's anti-American. I don't like anything about him. But anyway, here's the deal. Auburn's best team in the country. Gonzaga's that nice little story. Guys act smart when they say, well, you know, Chet Holmgren. Yeah, Chet Holmgren, my ass. Auburn's best team in the country. Jabari Smith's the best player that none of you have heard of, and Bruce Pearl just simply wins. They've gone into places and won. They've gone to Mississippi and won. They've gone to Alabama and won. They've gone to St. Louis and won, which is not easy. They've gone to South Carolina and won. Hell, my team, Indiana, got their first road win last night against one of the worst teams, the worst team in the Big Ten, Nebraska. Don't at me. I get it. I like Mark Few. Everybody likes Mark Few. But Auburn's the number 1 team in the country. Just watch a game and tell me. And don't like Springsteen. Wisconsin in the top 10. The coach of the year in the country to this point, if it's not Bruce Pearl, it's Greg Gard. I've said this before on this show. Swear to God, I'm doing my radio show. Sweet as you please. I'm talking to the masses in Indiana. And at a break in the show, I put my feet on the desk and I look up at our TV. And I got a 5-minute break. And I'm watching Wisconsin play, I think it was Texas A&M. Wisconsin was so effing bad, I cannot even tell you how bad they were. I said on my radio show, based on what I just saw in the first half here, this is the worst Wisconsin team we're going to see in 30 years. Let me think. Yeah, going back to 1990. You got to understand what Wisconsin was. When I played and coached at Indiana, I was there 16 years. Every one of those years, we played Wisconsin twice. That's 32 games. We went 31-1. I want you to think about that. 31-1. And this was going to be the worst team I saw going back to those days. Well, the second half started. And I thought to myself, I went to the Beard. When I go to the Beard, you know what happens. Some smart shit. Wisconsin's better. Are they great? No. Wisconsin's better. All right, let's see what happens. Fast forward. All of a sudden, Wisconsin is kicking everybody's ass. They win the Maui Classic, which is where I saw them. They did, however, lose to Providence earlier. They lost at Ohio State, got their ass kicked, and haven't lost since. This is a good basketball team, and Jonathan Davis, I don't give a damn what he calls himself. It don't matter. His name, baller. Big-time baller. What's he averaging? He's averaging 21 and a half. Brad Davison's averaging 16. Tyler Wall's averaging 11. This is a good team. I'm shocked they're in the top 10 after what I saw earlier. And they lost a bunch of pains in the ass. I mean, they lost pains in the ass. I don't know if you remember this, but back an assistant coach, a legendary player, I can't remember his name, ratted out, wanted a head coaching job, so he's going to try to get rid of Greg Gard. So he leaked an audio of these whiny-ass players, these whiny-ass Wisconsin players who were all graduated, whining, and I mean whining. Good for Barry Alvarez. He said, screw you, assistant coach, you're fired. Screw you, players, get out. Wisconsin's in the top 10. It's the best story so far in college basketball. Tell you a pretty good story. Loyola Chicago in the top 25. It's a good story. A kid named Valentine coaches him. His brother was Denzel Valentine. Remember Denzel Valentine, player of the year in the country for Michigan State? His dad was Carlton Valentine. Carlton Valentine was a good player. Kind of a weird-sized forward that played at Michigan State for Izzo. Really good. Well, anyway, his son is coaching. His son's like 29 years old, and he inherits this job at Loyola Chicago. Kid Cameron Krautwit, big old kid that looked like Chicago, was Chicago, says, I ain't coming back. I'm going to go play profession. Remember, this is a group that went to the NCAA Final Four. Well, they still have a kid named Lucas Williamson. Lucas Williamson does that. He just goes lights out when he guards people. I mean, he gets in their ass. They don't do anything. And Lucas Williamson also scores. He might be the best player you've never heard of. Lucas Williamson's a baller. I was there last year. Where was it? The Dome. Yeah, I think it was in the Dome. Where, was it the Dome? Maybe it was Conseco. Can't remember. But anyway, yeah, it was Conseco, now called Gainbridge. I was there when these guys, Loyola Chicago, beat Illinois. It was terrific. It was really good. It was fun. And this team is back. Valentine, the coach, is doing a good job. Number 12, Kentucky. Number 12, Kentucky is really good. Next time Kentucky plays, bet on them. I told you this weekend, I think it was Thursday, I told you take Kentucky, give the 4.5 to Tennessee. They beat Tennessee. Oh, my God, did they beat Tennessee. Now, Kentucky lost to Notre Dame. They lost to LSU. They should not have lost to LSU. They had the ball with under a minute to go, and they were up. They panicked. They learned. So they've beaten Georgia by double digits, Vanderbilt by double digits, beat the living hell out of Tennessee. Tomorrow, one of my fades will be take Kentucky, whatever the number is, at Texas A&M. Kentucky is really good. Ty Washington, really good. Now, people say, well, duh, Kentucky. Well, people write off Kentucky when they lose a game or two. Lose at Notre Dame, they write you off. Lose at LSU, they write you off. Nuh-uh. Kentucky is really good. I was texting with Calipari, and I'm like, you guys are really good. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. Nah, I don't know. Hey, I don't have friends in media. I don't want friends in media. But I'm looking more at, I don't know where they're at. I'm looking at the top 25. I'm looking at others receiving votes. Where the hell is Memphis? Man, Memphis is a train wreck. I know, and I said this before, I saw when Penny Hardaway was on a plane with Mike Mueller, and they looked like little kids trying to play coach. I said it then, I'll say it now. I get it. Oh, man, bald white guy, you suck. Penny's the best. Don't you remember little Penny? Penny Hardaway could beat your ass. Penny Hardaway's, yeah, well, that's true. I don't know what to tell you. But Penny Hardaway cannot coach a dog to take a shit. I mean, let's just be honest. He could not coach a dog to take a dump. Everybody makes some excuses for him. Why? Well, because. I couldn't say that on ESPN. That would be, oh my God, we got to only tell diverse stories. Oh my God. Let's just tell the truth. That's why I'm very popular myself in the African American community, because I grew up in Gary, Indiana. I've learned all people like to hear is the truth. You guys that sit there and pander, don't do it. Tell the truth. Penny Hardaway couldn't teach a dog to take a dump. Couldn't coach a dog to take a dump. So let's look at it, all right? Penny Hardaway's got the most talent of anybody in the world. He's got this kid named Imoni Bates. How about this? This clown, well, not clown, his dad's the clown. This guy's dad set up, now think about this, set up a high school for his kid, the Bates Academy. This goof decides that I'm going to Michigan State and makes a big deal of it. Then all of a sudden, the NIL comes in, and Tommy Izzo, he ain't playing those games. He ain't playing those Penny Hardaway games. He ain't doing that. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. So you got all this talent. Man, Gary Parrish, I guess is a writer at CBS, writes a big article a few years ago, basically ripping all of us that said, man, Penny Hardaway, I don't know. This is who Penny is. Now, Gary's in Memphis, and there's no bigger pandering media than Memphis. You got to understand. If you don't kiss the ass of the Memphis Tigers and you are a radio host or you are a television host or a writer in Memphis, they kill you. Memphis sucks. Let me just put it to you that way. They're 9-7. They've lost their last two. They've lost their last two by double digits at Central Florida, at East Carolina. Tell me where those two schools are. Go get them, Penny. Go get them, little Penny. Go get them, writer boys. Go get them, radio boys. Go get them. Go fight, win. That's great. Women's basketball. South Carolina, the Gamecocks. The Gamecocks of South Carolina women have been in the number one spot in women's basketball for the last 11 weeks. Women's basketball is weird. Let me explain women's basketball to you. Why would Storrs, Connecticut, which is in the middle of nowhere, be the all-time greatest program? I don't know. Why would Tennessee? I don't know. Why would Stanford? I don't know. Why would Louisville? I don't know. Why would South Carolina? I don't know. I'm telling you. Indiana, I get it. Basketball state. I never understood why Indiana wasn't a top women's basketball program. But you got to pitch in for South Carolina. 17-1. Been in the top spot for 11 weeks. That means everywhere you go, there's mammoth heat. Yes, sir. I'm all in on South Carolina. I am. Women's basketball is fun. It is. Women's softball is the best. I guess there's only women, so softball is the best. But I salute you. And speaking of women's, we're going to talk to the legend, the great Linda Cohn, when we come back. Can't wait. Stay right here. I'll fix my background. All right, let's discuss with a legend. We don't get legends here very often, but the lovely, the uber talented Linda Cohn joins us. By the way, Linda, before we get to what happened last night, you're on Mad Dog at 3 o'clock today on Sirius.
Yes, I will be. Usually I solo when I fill in for the great Christopher Mad Dog Russo, but I have Danny Cannell is with me as well. That'll be fun. We'll be breaking down all these NFL matchups. Isn't it great to be alive and be in sports? The NFL just continues to amaze me, how amazing it is and how it always gives us something fantastic to look forward to, Dan. And that's this weekend, these games.
Linda, I sat on my fat ass and literally watched it get fatter. Starting on Saturday, I just left it, and there was an ass print in my couch the size of the Grand Canyon. The games were great. I loved it. Yes,
you're too hard. It's great. You're too hard on yourself. Well, you're only human, for goodness sake, because the league puts on a show. You know, here's the thing. It's not like all the games last weekend were competitive, as we know, but we're still there. We're still locked in because anything can happen. And it's just an amazing, as we know, amazing situation. But where do you want to go? I'll give you my takes on everything. I am just pumped up, and I love everyone again saying, oh, there's no way the GOAT, Tom Brady. Oh, the Rams are coming. Oh, he loves hearing this, man. Everyone and their grandmother are picking the Rams in this particular matchup. I know the Bucs have a lot of injuries, and we don't have Leonard Fournette. That's a big one that will be ready. But just wait. I want to see a rematch, just like we're going to be treated to a Bills Chiefs rematch this weekend. I want to see Rodgers against Brady again at Lambeau Field. Can we just make that happen?
I think we're
no
going to
offense,
see that.
LA Rams fans.
Well, all right, let me go this route. Have you ever interviewed Tom Brady? And what have you?
I have never had the joy.
Okay.
I once early in his career, and I mean early, I think it was after his first Super Bowl, I saw him at an ESPYs, and he was nothing but gracious when we talked for 5 seconds. And that was it. I mean, it's just our paths have not crossed. He doesn't know this, Dan, but I'm his biggest fan. I mean, I kind of pump up that I'm still president of the Eli Manning fan club because, I'm a longtime Giants fan, and I can't get enough of Eli, and I love all his commercials now. And I love the mega cast with Peyton on ESPN2, but Tom Brady doesn't know the unconditional love I have for him. And my son is also that way. Well, he likes him in a different way because he's a Patriots fan and he's stuck with Brady. But bottom line is this. Yeah, I still believe, I believe he'll find a way. And those Buccaneers, they're going to hear all the noise that they're not going to beat the Rams. Isn't it funny, Dan? Everyone jumps on the bandwagon. I can't get over this. They just, and then, everyone's like back on the Chiefs bandwagon. Everyone's back on the Bills bandwagon. Now everyone's on the Rams bandwagon again. They're like, it's amazing.
In the Bills case, I got to tell you, I never was the greatest Josh Allen guy, but I thought he was the player of the weekend. I think to your point on the Tampa Bay, I think their defense is underrated. I think their secondary is I think their secondary big old dudes that hit you, Linda.
Yeah, well, in the incredible Super Bowl run a year ago, in Brady's first year, of course, with the Buccaneers, it was the defense that made opportunistic plays, right? You saw it, Dan. They made big play after big play, big stop after big stop. If I'm a realist, listen, I want Brady and the Buccaneers to move on and beat the Rams. Of course I do. It's just more fun. But I'm concerned about the offensive line situation, of course, when you have to deal with Aaron Donald and Von Miller and company. And Brady being protected. So that's my only concern there. But you're right about Josh Allen. Not only was he the best player on the field and the biggest difference maker on the field. And by the way, Dan, I mean, we've had this chats before, and on my Sunday show on Mad Dog, I just ripped Bill Belichick, the defensive genius. He had one job, and that was to prepare his team and his high-priced defenders. Okay, remember all the money the Patriots spent in the offseason for these quality defensive players, and it had a big reason why they were in the playoffs and did so well and overachieved this year. So money well spent. But Bill Belichick, that team, that defense, that's what I'm talking about, the defense. He has nothing to do with the offense. That defense was not prepared for what they saw. Dan, it's not like they didn't know Josh Allen and the Bills. This was the third time they were playing them this year. And to get totally destroyed, I knew they were going to lose, but I thought it was going to be competitive, Dan. He's not a genius right now, okay? He's not the greatest coach of all time, all right? I mean, I was very disappointed in Bill Belichick's performance, and he wasn't on the field.
Is there even a debate? Like, you know how that debate goes, Belichick or Brady, who was the driver? Right?
Yeah. There's no debate. I even before Brady in 1 year took a Buccaneers team who was a 500 team. Yes, with all those weapons, somehow they were a 500 team. Yet Brady comes and wins a Super Bowl in his first year, and they're like, "Oh, but he's got all those weapons." There never was a debate to me. Belichick was a losing head coach before Brady came into his life, and fate took over. And there was no debate. And anyone who had a problem with that, they were pretty quiet, like crickets, after Brady's big win last year.
Do you have any explanation for this? Because you live there, you have followed, I think, the Giants and the Jets. Why are they so bad for so long? What are we doing? Huh?
Well, it's the worst. Well, as I told you, I grew up a Giants fan, since I was a little girl. And this is the worst, but it's just John Mara, with all due respect, who makes the big decisions, the ownership group. I mean, every decision that's made, it's like 2 years too late. Okay. Like, why did it take this long for Dave Gettleman to retire? He was forced into retirement. He did an awful job as a general manager of this team. And then the coaching hires, it's always the wrong hire. And,
yes.
It's just always the wrong hire, Dan. And it, I don't know, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. When Joe Judge was hired, I thought, okay, let me give him an opportunity. But he spiraled downward the way he handled himself in the post-game news conferences. The last 4 weeks, the last month of the season for Joe Judge is the thing that really, and his play calling, obviously, on the field, destroyed him, because he could not handle the media. He cannot handle the pressure. But I mentioned, I'm president of the Eli Manning fan club. The Daniel Jones, let's kick Eli to the curb, that move, that was the only thing they were in a rush to do. And that was another bad decision. And I just don't see it. I never saw it in Daniel Jones. They're probably going to keep him for another year. I don't think they should pick up his 5th-year option. And I think they should be one of the multiple teams that are looking around and shopping for a quarterback. Russell Wilson obviously is out there. And also they have 2 first-round picks, the Giants do. And we'll see. But Daniel Jones has never been the answer. He was put in an awful position. He just doesn't have the skills. He'll make a nice backup quarterback somewhere.
Let me go this route with you. Who would you like to see them hire with the Giants? And even if you have somebody that's a general manager, but who would you like to see coach? Because I agree with you. Like, Ben McAdoo looked like the freaking excuse me. I mean, that was a train wreck. Joe Judge ended up. I thought Shermer was kind of the answer, but apparently he wasn't. It's 2-year increments, 2 and out. Who would you like to see them hire with the Giants?
Well, there are plenty of amazing coaching candidates out there. I mean, I'd be happy with a Jim Caldwell. I'd be happy with a Dan Quinn. Since I'm not in those rooms and I'm not vetting them out like everybody else, but those are just, I'm naming 2 guys. And listen, I'll tell you. The 2 coordinators on the Buccaneers, Byron Leftwich, Todd Bowles. I'm not saying to go there, but Todd Bowles had an opportunity with the Jets, didn't work out. A great defensive mind. But if you're going with a head coach like a Dan Quinn, okay, who is obviously he's a defensive genius, then you hire an amazing offensive coordinator. But I'm still not a big fan of Daniel Jones. I'm still have my eyes wide open. What can I do? There's just a lot there. Now, they still have a talented group of lethal weapons there. You still have, you have Galladay, you have Tony, who are never used in the Joe Judge offense, and you have Saquon Barkley if he stays healthy. They need better help on the offensive line. Who doesn't? I can name you 10 teams in the NFL right now who are sitting at home on their couch, just like you were, watching NFL games, who need offensive line help. There are plenty out there. So again, bad decision-making by the GM. They're going to pick a GM first, and then that GM, they're going to allow to pick the head coach. I don't think they did that in the past. So we'll see. I mean, Giants are a long way from being any kind of a contender. And I'm talking even division contender for the worst division in football, the NFC East.
You're the perfect person to ask this. You're a football fan. You're a journalist. You're a woman. Let me ask you this question. How would you feel with Deshaun Watson coming over to the New York Giants, your team?
Well, again, I would have to, if I was part of the management team for the New York Giants, I have to be in that room. I have to sit down with Deshaun Watson. I have to continue to get his side of the story. I'm going to have to talk to get through the legal stuff. I'd have to talk to the league and league officials on what's going on and look into their investigation and see what's really up about this. I would not automatically, turn away from the opportunity to get a Deshaun Watson. I need to do my due diligence, and I'm not going to be a total hypocrite. I mean, if I do my due diligence and find out, you know what, he's learned his lesson, the legal process is played out, I would give it an opportunity. I'm all about, you got to do your due diligence. I can't stand, Dan. Can you? I can't stand when everyone's like, oh, just jumping on the wagon, what everybody thinks. Think for yourself. I don't care what you're talking about, what subject matter, what person. Think for yourself, do your own investigating and find out. It's like when people ask me, and you get this all the time, by the way, when people say, what's so-and-so really like? Okay. We're in it, right? And we have an amazing opportunity where a lot of times that so-and-so, we get to meet them and we get to have a conversation with them. So we can only judge that. Like I've always said that about Alex Rodriguez. People always ask me, what's A-Rod really like? I'm just bringing him up as a random guy. And I go, you know what? He's always been nice to me. And that's what I have to judge it on. And he's always been professional. And that's the situation with the Deshaun Watson situation. I need to know more before I close my eyes to think he should not get an opportunity. I just need to know more about what's going on there. And he will. Hey, if it's not the Giants, Dan, I believe if he gets through the whole legal process and the NFL gives him a thumbs up eventually, when they decide what they're doing with him, what kind of suspension and all that, as we continue and move on to the next season, he's going to be with a team. He's going to be wearing another team's jersey and colors next year. I believe he'll be back in the NFL as early as next season, sometime during the season next year.
Is this the weirdest? I mean, to me, it's the weirdest situation I've ever seen. You're paying the guy. He's on your roster. He's never going to play, and he does his own thing. I've never seen anything like it. I really haven't. I don't like. Yeah, I don't know. Have you?
No, I mean, well, I'm sure I'm bad at remembering stuff from the past, but I'm sure there's been people like that. But he has a lot of baggage right now, and I hope now Deshaun Watson is surrounded with the right people to kind of unpack that baggage and start fresh and be a better person. Here's the thing: it's not an excuse, but when you have bad people around you who are not helping you become better, and they just want more of what you're entitled to. When you're an NFL quarterback, you think you're Teflon. And probably most professional athletes feel that way, or they have to learn life lessons. They believe nothing can touch them, nothing can hurt them. They're different. It's not the case. You're not different. You all follow the same rules that everyone else does. And Deshaun Watson has learned a hard lesson. There are others who have come back from worse. So I'm not going to be surprised. He made awful choices in his life off the field, Deshaun Watson. But I'm not going to be surprised having this year off. And once we get back into this next season, that he's going to find his way back into the league.
All right. Walk me through this. So last night, you were part of the first all-female broadcast team of the NHL. What do we got here? What are we doing? Are we going to do more of that?
Here's the thing. I was on SportsCenter last night as well talking about it. What was it? Was me, Leah Hextall, and Cassie Campbell-Pascal. Those two were in the booth. I was between the benches. I've been doing a lot of between the benches and NHL games. Everybody who knows me, job? Dan. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows me. I love it. I think that's my dream job right now that I'm doing. You know me, Dan. Then I'm on to the next dream job.
Right.
That's
right,
how
right.
you think, Dan. Right, that's how you keep
right.
going. And you don't get, you don't sit on the couch, and watching games and eating popcorn. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, but I love being between the benches. But the whole thing last night was really cool. It was the first all-female broadcast team for an NHL game on ESPN. It's been done before on a couple other networks, I believe. And but it was still very cool. Now, again, I was asked on SportsCenter, what was that like? Just the question like you posed. What did that mean? Honestly, I never think about that kind of stuff, milestone. I know people say I'm a pioneer and I've been in the business for over 30 years and long done the most sports centers and blah, 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 and all that. And I paved the way for a lot of young women, which I'm really proud of. But being a part of this crew in the sport that I love and grew up playing and being down on the ice and being respected and being a part with two women up in the booth, I didn't think, oh, wow, two women in the booth while I'm doing, Dan, I really was like, it's not it is a big deal, but it's not a big deal. I want it to be not a big deal. It's just not a big deal. And I think it's going to happen more and more. I think I have a game in Seattle next week, and I think Leah Hextall is doing the play-by-play, and I wouldn't be surprised if there is a color analyst that is one of our wonderful women, like AJ Malesko works with us as well. So it was cool. Don't get me wrong, and I spoke about it on SportsCenter, but I've never looked at it as like, oh, female, women. Yeah. It's just, we love the sport. We know the sport. We're passionate about the sport, whatever sport it is. And we prepare, we do our due diligence. And, we always have to do it blindfolded and do jumping jacks and do somersaults more than, anybody else to get attention. And so I love that they made a big deal about it, but I hope we continue, as you said very nicely, Dan, that it'll just happen and continue to happen. And it's not a big deal. We've seen that in other sports. I mean, the great Doris Burke, my goodness, what she does for the NBA. Anyway, it was great to be down at ice level and be part of that action, which I've been doing a lot of. It's great. And I still have those reflexes just in case I look out for flying pucks. You got to be alert in between the benches, Dan. Can you do that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I could see you. I know, you've done a lot. You've been through a lot, but you have to have your eyes wide open when you're down there in between the benches. You always have to pay attention. Follow the puck. That's what every great goalie does. So that's what I do out there to keep safe.
You don't want to be a meme, or you don't want to be the one that gets smacked in the face because you're looking over the other way or something.
You got it. Or on your phone,
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. I'm tweeting something. Boom, right in the chops. We don't need that. No. Hey, Linda, I've always said this. I don't care who you are, black, white, male, female.
Yeah.
If you're unprepared, unenthusiastic, and you don't have a passion, I don't want you on my TV.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
The other way, I don't care, black, white, male, female, I don't care. Young, old, don't matter to me. If you're passionate and you're prepared and you're informed, hey, man, I don't give a damn who you are. It's good TV. It is. And it's horrible TV the other way. I don't care if you're the most famous football player alive. If you're not passionate, if you're not,
right.
get the hell off.
We are, Dan, you're preaching to the choir. And
right.
I hate the fact, and I know it's our business, and I know it's like this everywhere, but when you have a big name or a former player who has a name, any sport, former player has a name, people know the name, don't put in the work, just think they can go up there unprepared and laugh at their own jokes. I can't take it.
I can't either.
I can't take it.
No. I watched a lot of college basketball. I'm like, fellas, it's okay to be enthusiastic. Like quit the monotone. Like cut it out. Like, I was watching Tony Romo at the end of that Cowboys game. Hey, man, he was going crazy. We got, that. Because that's what you were doing at home. I don't know. I think it's great. All right. Tonight you're on for Chris. You're on Mad Dog.
3
what else
Eastern.
You got? What else?
All right. What else I got? Doing
podcast.
A lot of podcast. It's interesting. It's easy to remember. I have a podcast, the only ESPN podcast on the NHL. It's called In the Crease, and I do share the stage with Emily Kaplan. And it's twice a week, and it's fantastic. Get it wherever you download it, hear it wherever you get your podcasts. It's called In the Crease. And I also host a show called In the Crease on ESPN Plus. Every hockey highlight of every game, every night, you can see right there on ESPN Plus. And once in a while, I'll show up on SportsCenter. So just living the life, having fun. And Dan, you're awesome. Congratulations on this program, this show. Talk about every stage you have, you crush it. And you define passion when it comes to sports and how you present it. You're a real person and you're genuine and you're one of my all-time faves. You know how I feel about you, Dan.
Same, right back at you. That's why I couldn't wait that when you said you could come on, I couldn't wait, man. I love talking to you. I'm listening at 3. I told you this before. I've heard every day I drive home, every day I leave my station at 3. I drive home, boom, I turn on Mad Dog, and when you're on, I stay it. The channel don't change, lady. The channel don't change. There you go.
Before I let you go, even though I'm not hosting, Chiefs Bills. We love Josh Allen. Is Josh Allen going to beat Patrick Mahomes? Are we going to be by night's end of that game? Are we going to be on board talking about Josh Allen beating the Chiefs?
I'm saying no. I look. Josh Allen was great. They played fantastic. They played well enough that Belichick is in question, as you and I talked earlier.
Yep.
But man, I'm all in on the Chiefs. Linda, I am. What do you say?
You know what? It's hard to go against the Patrick Mahomes. I really love watching him play, but I'm with you. I just love passion, that word again. I love that for Josh Allen. He carried that team on his back. I just hope, and they're well coached. But I just hope that that their victory in their mental, you know this because you coached, and had to deal with players and you have to try to tell them, hey, we beat that team. I know for all of you, that was a big milestone, but it's not where we have to go. But you can talk to the cows come home, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's just in their brains that, we beat Bill Belichick and the Patriots. That's all we need to do. We don't have to go a next level. But I'd love to see it for those Bills fans, the Bills Mafia. I would love to see this happen, that the Bills somehow go into Arrowhead and take out the Chiefs. Because those Chiefs fans, with all due respect, I mean, come on. They're very spoiled, okay, because they have Patrick Mahomes. I'd like to see Josh Allen and the Bills get to a Super Bowl. I think they would put on a great show.
I would too, and I would, but I'm tired of Mahomes' brother. I think he's a little pain in the ass.
There's always something. If it isn't what, Dan, you're the one that can answer this. What is it with these family members, whether it's brothers, whether it's significant others, that rhymes, brothers or the significant others? I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to see your social media posts complaining. What is your problem? Let your loved one, your family member, do his thing. Nobody needs to hear from you on Instagram.
No. Hey, we don't need whatever that pain in the ass brother is. We don't need him dancing. I don't need him dancing. I don't need it. Influencer my ass is what I say.
Well, he's trying to be right. He's an influencer because his brother is named Patrick Mahomes.
Right. Oh man. To your point though, I'll say this. To your point about the Bills, people always ask me, what's the best thing Bob Knight did as a coach? You know what I always tell them? Bob Knight made you forget that you just had a success. Like, he was great about, hey, look, great win. Let's go. Who cares? You're in Indiana. You're supposed to win. Let's go to the next game. He was unbelievable with that. And handling success, as you know, man, that is harder than handling failure, I think. I do. I think for pro players, it's really hard to handle success. I do.
Great point. Absolutely great point. And that's what I was saying. It's just like, it's really hard. And everyone and your grandmother are telling you how great you are after that big win. And just 5 or 6 days from, is your next game.
Yeah.
And how do you go on next level? How do you?
Yeah.
I mean,
and so if you're even, hey, Linda,
if
you're even a little bit off mentally, you're going to get your ass kicked by the Chiefs. I mean, if you're not 100% right, if you're still thinking about last week and all the shows you did or the talk, whatever, you're going to get your ass beat because Chiefs are pretty good.
That's why we're going to find out who the real Josh Allen is. And I'm not just putting it on him, right? But he made that victory happen. He was everything in that victory over the Patriots. He has to be everything and more. And he one miscue, and he's known to turn the ball over, as we know. I mean, you cannot give the Chiefs, this is obvious, but you can't give the Chiefs additional opportunities to get that offense on the field. And that's the only thing that concerns me about Josh Allen is going to try to do too much against a Chiefs team where their defense is very opportunistic.
I agree. Great stuff. Look forward to listening this afternoon. Thanks for the time, Linda. You're the best.
Anytime. Continued success, Dan.
Same to you, Linda. She's awesome. I love Linda Cohn. Are you kidding me? She is the absolute best. I'm telling you, passionate about sports, loves what she's doing. It's great. I love having her on. Love it. A lot of ESPN people won't come on OutKick because there's, Clay has pissed them all off. Linda don't care. I was going to get into some some players to watch. Maybe we'll get into that when we come back. But I could talk to Linda for a freaking hour. I could talk to her forever. All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll come back. I got a bunch, including some sack up, some fades for you. Yesterday we were 3-0. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, some college hoops for you today. I'm getting serious about college hoops. We're going to start making some money. Thanks to Linda Cohn. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. That was a lot of fun. I love Linda Cohn. If you missed Linda Cohn, we'll have the replay up for you at OutKick and over on YouTube. It's pretty good. She was excellent. No, not kind of good. I love that woman. I'm not lying. I would love to co-host a show with her. I think we would absolutely kill it. Anyway, this is Don't At Me. Let's get right into players to watch. I'm going to talk about guard Sasha Stefanovic once again. I talked about him earlier. He plays for Purdue. Big game this weekend. 7 straight games, 7 straight times the Purdue Boilermakers have beaten the Indiana Hoosiers, and now they play on Fox on Thursday night on Fox. Here's the deal. Sasha Stefanovic had a big game. Sasha Stefanovic had 22. When to beat Indiana, and Purdue is going to be favored, you got to throw the ball inside to the Purdue bigs, but you got to nail threes. Sasha Stefanovic is a guy to watch. Linda and I just talked about it, didn't we? Handling success. He's a fifth-year senior. He's a great dude. He's a balling dude. Sasha Stefanovic has to knock in shots against Indiana for the 8th straight win, Purdue over Indiana. Sasha Stefanovic's big. Very big. And I don't know why I call him Stefanovic. I always do, but his name is Stefanovic. Next player to watch, James Akinjo. Look, Baylor has lost 2 in a row. No team that has been ranked number 1 has lost 2 in a row. There's some kind of weird deal, but they lost 2 in a row. I thought Baylor was actually going to go and maybe go through the entire season with 1, maybe 2 losses. Didn't think they'd go undefeated. Hard to do. 76 the last time. James Akinjo is the veteran. He's the point guard. When you are the point guard and you've played at 3 different places, this is your third, and you're trying to keep a legacy going, if you see what I'm doing here. It's on this kid Akinjo to get this thing right for Baylor. Watch him next game. When Baylor needs a bucket, they got to go to veterans. You just do, I'm sorry. You just can't go to some guy off the street. Akinjo has to be the guy for the Baylor Bears. Now, couple of things with that. If you're Baylor, first thing you got to do is you got to forget the past. Forget it. Okay, you lost 2. Learn from it. It's a great chance to learn. And today at 5 o'clock, Baylor is going to play at West Virginia. Akinjo has to lead them. They're 6.5-point favorites. If Akinjo don't play well, they ain't going to win. It's that simple. All right? Derrick Henry, and I'm being literal here. He is the guy to watch. You got to watch and see if he plays this weekend. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody can say, yeah, he's going to play. Everybody can say, yeah, they held him out. They put him onto the roster to play him. Great. Let's see. Number 1, does he play? Number 2, how does this affect the Titans? Remember, the Titans are the number 1 seed. They've been playing really well without Derrick Henry. Now you put him in. The theory is Derrick Henry is a bonus. He's going to help. The caveat to that is, do they change what they've been doing? Does Derrick Henry affect the way the Titans have gone about winning? I don't think it does, because the Titans have still ran the football. I think it enhances, but it is something and someone to watch. All right, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving had 27 last night, and the Nets, lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kyrie Irving, though, he ain't getting vaxxed. He ain't playing in home games. This is something to watch. Is he going to continue doing this? He came out yesterday and defended his stance, made it very clear that Kyrie Irving is not going to change his stance on his vaccine status. Fine. What does that mean? It means you can't play at home. It means you can't play home games. You can only play on the road. All right? So let me jump from Kyrie Irving to the Brooklyn Nets and say, now, Nets, including Kyrie Irving, you got to sack the hell up. Yeah, you do. You got to sack the hell up. Let's be honest. I mean, no Durant to make shots for you late. No Irving for home games. Durant out with a knee for a little bit, maybe 3 to 4 weeks, maybe 4 to 6 weeks. Who knows? So now, you guys that are playing in Brooklyn with James Harden and half Kyrie Irving, here's the deal. You're going to have to sack the hell up. I mean, what do you want out of the year? That's what you ask people. That's what you ask teams. You say to them, hey, look, what do y'all want out of this year? Like, are you real about a championship? Are you real about that? Is it impossible for this particular team, the Brooklyn Nets, because Irving on half and half and Durant not there? Is it impossible? That's what you got to figure out. And the bottom line is right now the Brooklyn Nets are 27-16. The Chicago Bulls are 27-15. 1 game up in the loss column. The Miami Heat have 16 losses, and the best team, the Bucks, have 19 losses. It's going to be really interesting to see, if you follow the NBA, how this all shakes out. Bulls, most fun team, right? Great story. Billy Donovan doing a fantastic job. DeMar DeRozan might be the MVP. I don't know. But they've gotten their ass kicked when they've played kind of show-me games. All right? The Heat, solid organization. They just keep grinding it out. Spoelstra, everybody loves. All right. Then you've got the best team, and that's the Bucks with the reigning MVP. Then you got an up-and-comer in the Cavs. Then you got kind of the old established guard in the Brooklyn Nets. What are the Brooklyn Nets going to do? How is this going to play out? Are they going to sack the living hell up? Don't at me, people. Don't at me. The Brooklyn Nets need to sack the hell up or shut the living hell up. Oh, we got all these guys. Oh. Okay. Sack the hell up or shut the F up. It's pretty simple. It really is. It's pretty simple. And it's time to sack up, Brooklyn Nets. I don't know why you're not. I don't know why you wouldn't. You should. I mean, go get some wins. You're paying people. I know Joe Harris is out. Who cares? All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Yesterday I gave you 3.5, and I took the Rams. Yesterday I gave you Nebraska. They were getting 9 at the time. It went to 8, and we still won. And I forget the third one. The third one was Purdue. Take Purdue getting 2 at the Fighting Illini. Hey, man, they should have won that game 3 different times. They won it. So our toes are tapping today. I was a half a yard from another 100. I was a touchdown away from 800. But that's all right. Our toes are tapping. We won a ton. Also took Elon. I believe I told you Elon. Can't remember. I only go by what they post after the show. That's how whacked out I am. Like, I can't remember what I tell you. And then Lauren posts it. I retweet it. Usually I only retweet it if we win. Do you know how hard it is to win all 4 of these games today? Do you know how hard it is? But I'm going to give you 4 college basketball games. Number 1, 2 of them I'm going to watch. 1 of them I got no interest in. Actually, 1 of them I got no interest in, and the other one, Kansas, I'm betting because I think it's my lock. All right, let me go through this. First and foremost, Wisconsin. -2 at Northwestern. Now, on the surface, you say to yourself, Daniel J for John. Did you not see Northwestern beat the living shit out of Michigan State physically? I did. Did you not see how well Northwestern played defensively against Michigan State? I did. Did you not see the toughness Northwestern played with against Michigan State? I did. So why are you taking Wisconsin -2? Well, let me tell you. Unless Northwestern is truly real, I mean truly real, I mean real, a real squad, they'll get beat by 5 or 10 or more in this game. Why? I just talked about it with Linda Cohn. There are some teams, if you're not real, that cannot handle success. If you really want to bet, this is the kind of bet that suckers don't make. This is the kind of bet that fanboy says, man, I saw Northwestern. They're really good. They just beat Sparty. Well, here's the deal. If Northwestern is a real basketball team, if this group has real toughness, they will win. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy that Northwestern's players, for the first time all year, getting a bunch of accolades for winning a game, can handle it. And I think Wisconsin rolls in this game. Look, it's a road game. Probably be a lot of fans there from both teams. Wisconsin will have a hell of a lot of fans. It ain't that far from Madtown. And, of course, it's a home game. Chicago's Big Ten team. I'm taking Wisconsin. I'm taking it all day. I'm taking it for more money than I should. And you know what's going to happen? My toes are going to be tapping. Let me go to the next game. Kansas at Oklahoma. Legendary college basketball cheat Calvin Sampson told me one time as he was at Indiana. He goes, you know, Oklahoma was one of the great jobs in the country. I said, yeah, tell me why. A lot of money. Great facility because of that money. A lot of players in and around it. Fantastic university. But the fifth one's the one that got me. Dan, he said, nobody gives a shit about it until after Christmas, until after New Year. And even then, they don't really give a shit. Well, he was referring to the difference between Oklahoma basketball and Indiana basketball. We had just gotten done playing Chicago State in front of 17,000 people in November on a Sunday. You know how many people would be in November on a Sunday at Oklahoma? Now, you say to me, Dan, it's after New Year. Yeah, it don't matter. This Oklahoma team is pedestrian at best. Had some good wins, some bad losses. This Kansas team is really good. I'm going to take Kansas here. I'm going to give the points. This is two straight road favorites that I'm taking. I never, ever usually take road favorites. I am with these two, and I feel good about it. Look, Kansas, I think, is really good. We don't talk about Kansas. We talk about them the first game of the year, the Champions Classic, maybe a game later on. We don't really talk about them. We're talking about them now. I think they're very good, and I think we're going to see it tonight. So, again, what's the line there? 3.5. I would lose the hook because I don't like the hook. There's nothing about the hook that I like. But 3 is a good number. I'll take Kansas. I'm certainly not going to take Oklahoma. No chance. Maryland +6 at Michigan. Interesting game. Maryland are now the Fighting Danny Mannings. It's January. So, of course, I'm going to take the Maryland Terrapins. Look, you're coached by a Dan. I'm going to take Danny Hurley tonight against Butler. I'm going to take Danny Manning. I want Dan Quinn to get a head coaching job. I want Dan Snyder to sell his team. I want Dan Plesac in the booth on Sunday Night Baseball. It is all about the Dans right now. Damn it. Dan it. I'm taking Danny Manning. I'm taking the 6. They've played pretty well on the road, Maryland has. Michigan is a bit of a train wreck. If Michigan's going to get itself right, Michigan is going to get itself right tonight. Let me say that again. If Michigan's going to get itself right, Michigan's going to get itself right tonight. What does that mean? Well, when you struggle and your team hasn't played very well, there's a point in the season where things change. It's already gone bad, but there's a point sometimes where bad becomes disbelief. Disappointment becomes disbelief. And when disbelief factors in, here's what you do as a team. You play well for a while in a game, and then you lose. That's when disbelief comes into play. That's when things like this happen. I don't know where Michigan's team is. Like, I'm not going to pretend to tell you that Michigan's team is in the stage of disbelief. I'm not even going to begin to. I don't even think they're nearly there. But I do know this. It has been a disappointment. Let me go through Michigan just for a second. Michigan in the Big Ten is 1-3. Michigan has lost 3 straight games. Now, they're playing a Maryland team that is 1-5. Maryland has lost 1 straight game. Let me go through this for you just a second. To start the year, you know, we all jumped up and down, stood on our head, and crapped snowballs about Juwan Howard. Juwan Howard's great. Okay, Juwan Howard's great. Juwan Howard is the way teams should go. Hire an NBA guy from their alma mater. I can't argue that. But Juwan Howard appears to me to be the beneficiary of certainly his background, but also a discipline that is inherent to John Beilein teams. Last time out at Illinois, Michigan played well. But you know what happened? They played well for a while. And then disbelief when a run came. A tied game became a 15-point loss. That ain't great. Now, you're not going to hear that anywhere other than from me. Because really, when you watch college basketball today, who's telling you anything? So let me go through Michigan just real quick. Here's their last 5 games. Lost to Central Florida, same thing, got beat in the end. Lost at Rutgers, same thing, got beat in the end. did what Michigan did in football a year ago when they didn't want to play Ohio State. Oh, we got the vid. We got COVID. All right? So they didn't play their rival, Michigan State, at Michigan. Then they didn't play Purdue. Oh, okay. Two of the best teams. They jumped back. I think disbelief is there. I'd probably take Michigan in the first half. I think Michigan will come out and play well. But it's that disbelief. If Maryland can keep putting the heat on, and I don't know that they can, and I don't know that they can't, but if they can, I'll take that 6 points, and my toes are going to be tapping. It's a good game to watch anyway. North Carolina. Weird game here. North Carolina under Hubert Davis is okay. Like, they don't have what North Carolina normally has. And let me tell you what North Carolina normally has. If you're a college basketball fan, take your ass to the Dean Smith Center and look in those rafters. You look in those rafters, you forget how many great players played at North Carolina. Like, oh, yeah, I forgot about Charlie Scott. Oh, yeah, Billy Cunningham. Oh, yeah, Mitch Kupchak. I forgot. Yeah? Well, they don't have those guys right now. Those guys ain't walking through the door, baby. They've got a nice team. A nice team. Not a great team. They got a nice team. Let's go through it. Right now, they're 4-1 in the Big East, or in the ACC. Right now, you know who's leading the ACC? You ready? Miami. All right? Let me tell you what happened to Miami. Remember I said this. Miami, not a real program. They looked great beating Duke. I mean, they beat Duke. At Duke. And we're tough. We're physical. We're back-cutting. Made every play. But remember what I told you. If you're a real team, you go to Florida State and you win that game. They didn't win that game. They did not beat Florida. Close game. Close game. Good game. Really good game. But they got beat. Right now, 12-4 is what North Carolina is. North Carolina, let me give you their game. They lost in one of the boringest games ever at Notre Dame. Since then, here's what they've done. They've come out and they blasted Georgia Tech. I mean, blasted Virginia. They're playing well. They're starting to have Carolina pride. The gym tonight down in Coral Gables, is that where it is? Will have nobody in it at the U. There'll be a ton of North Carolina fans because all those East Coast people that went to North Carolina continue down the coast as they get older, and next thing you know, they're in Miami. Take North Carolina. Give the 2. Get rid of the hook if you can. I told you, 4 things I live by. Number 1, no good deed goes unpunished. Number 2, be careful what you wish for. Number 3, always follow someone in a cape because you're going to have a great time. And number 4, get rid of the hook. Get rid of the hook. Take them at 2. I think these 4 are going to win for us. I do. Hey, last thing before I let you go here, I want to thank all of you. I didn't interact enough with the YouTube channel today. I feel bad about that. The YouTubers are fantastic. And tomorrow, I guarantee you, I'll be interacting with the YouTube people. I promise you. You guys bring it every day. The commissioner's always out there, the great Sean Black. Couple other things. You know, this actually happened to my family, and this is really bad. You know, yesterday, the Spartan community came at me. Sparty likes to, all these little fat white guys with beards that went to Michigan State, they like to bitch, whine, and moan every time Miles Bridges has a good game. When Miles Bridges was at Michigan State, he couldn't play dead. He could shoot jump shots, and he could dunk. Great. Best athlete maybe I've ever seen in the Big Ten. Miles Bridges, I said, has no game. The idiots in the media criticized me. Everybody lost their mind. The whiny-ass Michigan State media whined about it, wrote articles, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a damn. He didn't have any game in college. Now Miles Bridges is pretty good because running, jumping, and dunking and being able to shoot plays well in the NBA. So good for Miles Bridges. Seems like a nice kid. I'm happy for him. But every time Miles Bridges has a good game, all these little fat-ass wannabes from Michigan State wearing skinny jeans, wide hips, and beards come at me. Miles Bridges has no game, and I'm fine with that. What I don't like about it is Michigan State fans are hateful. They chanted at me, "We hate Dakich," 12,000. Think about that word hate. If I wasn't a middle-aged white guy, that would have been a national story. But as a middle-aged white guy, it's okay to say, "We hate you," in unison. Then some deranged Michigan State fans showed up at my daughter's ice cream shop when she was working in high school, asking where we lived. I called the cops. You know what Michigan State's reaction is to that? Well, that never happened. They can find your address no matter what. I don't give a shit if they can find my address. A deranged idiot showing up at your 15-year-old daughter's workplace sucks. Shouldn't happen. I've had all kind of things, all kind of threats from Michigan State people. Hey, Sparty, grow the hell up. Hey, Michigan State, how about you do this? How about you get an entrance requirement that requires more than just breathing on a slate and having a breath? How about you up the academic standards at your school? How about you discipline people that chant hate at basketball games? I've never received one apology from Michigan State University, other than from Izzo when I told him what a dumbass he was when he went after me in a press conference. And I appreciate it, and I'm friends with Izzo. I love Tom Izzo. I'll take a bullet for Tom Izzo. He's really tried to help me over the last couple of years. But Sparty, grow the fuck up, will you please? There's no reason to show up at a 15-year-old's workplace. There's no reason to chant hate. There's no reason to put things on social media that kids have to read. Grow the hell up. Get a frickin' life, mature a little bit, and shut the fuck up. We'll talk to you tomorrow.